Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here for this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Tonight's meeting is a voting meeting. Before we get started, we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Would everybody please rise? And Councilman Lupinacci, would you lead us?
Certainly. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you all home for watching this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Carmel. Today's date is Wednesday, November 4th, 2015. And as I said, tonight's Town Board meeting is a voting meeting. Before we came out for the public session, we had a 6 p.m. meeting in executive session with a Wilson Elser law firm regarding a litigation matter. And for the record, all board members are present with us this evening with our town clerk, Ann Spofford's here too. Ann, thanks for being here. And all the way down to my left is our town council, Greg Fulchetti. Okay. Greg, thanks for being here as well. And in the audience, we have Mike Simone, our highway superintendent, with us tonight. And Mary Ann Maxwell, our town controller, is also here for the budget, public hearing on the budget. So the first item on the agenda this evening is an amended resolution rescheduling a public hearing, and that's been rescheduled to December 9th, 2015. And Councilman Schneider, would you read that resolution?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the rescheduling of a public hearing at Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, 10541, from Wednesday, November 4th, 2015, to Wednesday, December 9th, 2015, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter that evening as possible, on a proposed local law enacting Chapter 15 of the Code of the Town of Carmel entitled Employment Fingerprint Inquiries, and be it further resolved that the town clerk, Ann Spofford, is hereby authorized and instructed to publish and post the necessary notices in the official newspaper of the town and on the town bulletin board regarding this public hearing. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, number 2 on the agenda this evening is a public hearing in connection with the preliminary budget for fiscal year ending 2016. And with that, I'm going to ask the town clerk, Ann Spofford, to please read the notice of the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel will conduct a public hearing on the 4th day of November 2015 at Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, at 7 p.m. or as soon thereafter that evening as possible, in regard to the preliminary budget for the fiscal year 2016, including the general town fund, highway funds, as well as all water districts, sewer districts, park districts, fire protection districts, lighting districts, and garbage districts. And be it further noticed that pursuant to Section 108 of the town law, the proposed salaries of the following officials for fiscal year 2016 are hereby specified as follows. Supervisor, $108,514.04. Town council members each, $20,038. Town clerk, $85,194.20. And highway superintendent, $113,398.74. And be it further noticed that the preliminary budget for the town of Carmel has been completed and filed in the office of the town clerk, Town Hall, 60 McAlpin Avenue, Mahopac, New York, where it is available for public inspection during office hours. At said public hearing, any resident may be heard in favor of or against the preliminary budget as compiled, or for or against any item or items contained therein. The town board will make every effort to assure that the public hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk. By order of the town board of the Town of Carmel, Ann Spofford, town clerk.
Okay, thank you for the reading of that, Ann. And at this time, I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough and Councilman Lupinacci. Okay, at this time, the public hearing is open. Is there any residents that would like to come up and address the board with respect to the 2016 town budget hearing? If there are, come on up at this time. Mike?
Hi, Mike Borelli, longtime resident. Bunch of things on the budget, a couple of minor ones, a couple of really big ones. But I want to start with the really huge one that we're waiting patiently for the outcome on with the local authorities. But in the 2016 budget, you have $4,100,000 budgeted for fire districts. Speaking for myself personally, and quite a few friends and business associates, we'd like to see a receiver appointed for the money going to the fire district right across the street. Hire someone in the controller's office to watch over their funding, but you just can't turn over $2-point-something million to a business or a company that's under investigation. And there should be a minimum $500,000 removed from that 2.3 request and given back to the taxpayers in that district. And those taxpayers in that district would be happy to see a 0% tax rise this year instead of 2.6. I think that's really big, and I think that should be stated. When you guys finalize this budget, something has to be stated publicly on how this money is going to be handled. It's not $100. It's $2 million. On the building maintenance line, you have building maintenance is up 38.9%, and you're spending $362,350 on building maintenance. Now, this building is part of that building maintenance. And I really believe Town Hall, as much as we're all trying, I mean, this looks great, the floor looks great, the chairs, but there are things that people see before they see this. And that's the exterior, and that's the lobby and the entrance. And I mean, just walk around the building. And if you have a line going up, 38%, I would hope we can afford to buy 2 garbage cans for the lobby and get rid of those 2 garbage cans that are on wheels that I've been standing here complaining about for the last 5 years. Because that's the first thing somebody sees when they come into the town of Carmel. 2 garbage cans open on wheels. It's just, it's beyond ridiculous. The exterior speaks for itself. I said it in the summertime, whoever was taking care of this building should be fired. A big item is the engineering department. You have $525,000 budgeted in the engineering department. There's no doubt in my mind that as a businessman, I personally can cut that budget 15 to 20%, and I don't see why you guys can't do it. You have 2 engineers on retainer. You have one that sits upstairs and an excellent company that does outside work for the town that we don't pay any benefits to. We give a strict salary to. I don't understand why we can't go to this outside company and ask them what it's going to cost to hire someone, a junior engineer or a body to be in town hall for the public, or for when somebody has a question. Why are we paying 2? The $90,000 we're spending upstairs is absolute total waste. We can get away with it. Outside engineer hires someone to sit in their place. You get rid of the position, you get rid of the benefits. Maybe we could hire another cop, and you won't get the complaints you've had in the last 2 years. Because I don't know one person that has anything good to say about your engineering department. That's a fact. That's not from me. Number 5 on my list, and another thing with the engineering department, I have a project in Somers. If I breathe for more than 1 minute in a planning board meeting in Somers, it costs me about $2,000. If I need an engineer to dot an I across a T for the town of Somers, it costs me about $3,000. Raise your planning board fees. Whoever's in front of the planning board, let them pay for the engineer. I was saying that when I was a developer 10 years ago, and you never did it. You are, but raise it more. Another real sore spot. Number 5, outside legal bills. In 2015, we have estimated that we're paying $422,000 for outside legal counsel. In 2016, you're up 13.7, and you're budgeting $480,000. There's no doubt in my mind half of that's been wasted. Half of that was spent on police arbitration, and all you needed to do was get in a room and stay in the room. Although it's nice to hear a little birdie is telling me maybe there's a long-term solution to the police problem on the close horizon. But total waste of money, $500,000 outside legal counsel. The only outside legal counsel you should hire is the one that you met tonight, because that outside legal counsel are experts in the biggest issue this town has, which is the reval. And I don't believe this reval is going to get done without legal counsel that has handled these type of revals with the city of New York. I don't think Vision's capable of doing it, and I'll be very honest with you, I don't think anybody in this room, including myself, is capable of doing it. So I would really look strongly, if you're going to spend any money on lawyers next year, that is spent on this lawyer or these lawyers, because every time we see a tax bill, we'll realize that that lawyer maybe gave us something back instead of just wasting our money. I have to jump around a little bit here. In the last 10 years, our taxes are up 60%. 6% a year, average amount. Yeah, there were really bad times. But those kind of numbers are just not sustainable, and you're seeing it now with young people that can't buy houses. You're seeing it with old people that are moving. And the fact that you made the cap at 2.6 is not great news to me. I really believe this year you could have got it to 0. And, you know, several members or members of this board keep saying, well, you know, when we should get sales tax from the county. We should get 1% sales tax, something from the county. Well, guess what I did? I looked into the county's budget. And I found out, basically, that if they give us 1%, they're going to want what they pay for us. And I really researched this. I mean, the Board of Elections, we should be paying $500,000 to that they pay. There's a college thing in the state that we should be paying about $1 million to. And plus, they cover our delinquent taxes. I'm not sticking up for them. I happen to think most of the legislators are the most dysfunctional people I've ever seen. But I don't want to hear any more that we have to get more from the county. The only thing I want more from the county is the emergency police and a sheriff. They should be picking up a little more on the emergency police. But that's not the answer. The answer is the waste that we're doing in this town, in-house, not outside help. Now let's get down to the other 800-pound gorilla besides the fire district, our elected officials. You've granted all managers anywhere from 2 to 6% raises, some over 10% for 2 years. Now let's make this perfectly clear as a businessman. I have no problem giving raises. I really don't. And I happen to think some of the salaries aren't where they should be. I know that a lot of you guys have given back 2, 3, 4%. I don't want to miss somebody, so I'm not going to name names, but I know the supervisor, I know the attorney, Ms. Maxwell, I forget who else, but, and it's time to get it back, which I agree with. I just think your timing kind of sucks a little bit. And on the bottom, I'll get to that why. And I also think the supervisor should be the highest paid, not necessarily personally saying you might be worth it, but in a town, the supervisor should be the highest paid. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. And you're not, so something's skewed on the scale there. But to give those raises when our police department has had no contract for over 4 years, and when the highway department has had no contract for over 5 years, that's a slap in the face to all of them. I don't care how you look at it. You can give yourself $5. It's just a slap in the face. You guys are elected. You know, don't run if you need the job to get raises. It's called public service. You know, you're supposed to serve the public. The public is not here to serve you. It's just, you know, for what you're getting to sit up there, if you're taking the insurance and all the bennies, it's a paycheck. It's not right. That's all there is to it. And I stand here right now guaranteeing you that the next election cycle will not be run unopposed. That's never going to happen again, not here. Not while I'm breathing in Mahopac. Just because in 2016 elected officials started paying a portion of their health insurance doesn't mean you get a raise to cover it. I mean, what do you give? You're not giving anything. You're holding $300,000 to $400,000, my estimate, of police department and highway raises that retroactively you'd have to hold 2%. So, I mean, you're acknowledging that these guys are supposed to get 2%, or you're holding 2% for the last 4 years. I mean, you can't hold $500,000 of their money without giving them a contract or sitting down in a room with them and negotiating. I know you've been negotiating with the police department. I have my sources. I know you're trying to negotiate with the highway department, and I have my sources, and one of them is not behind me because we keep that totally separate. Actually gets quite upset when I discuss this stuff. But you can't do it. It's not right. You can't sit there, give yourself raises while you have 75 people with no contracts for 4 to 5 years. You can't do it. Watch your legal bills. They're insane. They're insane. The maintenance of this building, when we have a budget that we have, is embarrassing. And I'm beating a dead horse. It's the same thing every year. It's got to the point where nobody comes. Even the regular people that come to this meeting are not here tonight. It's like everybody's given up. Well, guess what? I'm not giving up. And I will tell you, anybody that's looking to run for election 2 years from now, and they're looking for financing, I'm stating publicly right now that I will raise money. But no one's running unopposed again. Not saying you're not doing a good job. It's just not healthy. I've always said that. There should be term limits, and there should be people running every year.
That's
I want to know what you're doing with the fire department money. I want to know the status of the police discussions, and I want to know the status of the highway discussions, if it's proper to discuss it now, since it's part of your budget. I mean, how are you putting cops in the budget for next year if you don't know what you're going to pay them? And if it took 4 years to get to this point, how do I know it's not going to take 4 more years to get to the next point? So you're not going to put 2 cops because you don't know what you're going to pay them yet. I mean, like I said, I've been told that you're back on track with discussions, and people are smiling and not mad at each other anymore, and you're trying to get somewhere. But I don't hear that with the highway department. And don't let the shirt with no jacket fool you. It could snow in 3 days. And when they go out in the first snowstorm, I like to see them go out with a smile on their face. And with the $500,000 you're holding, would they get their $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 check before wintertime, retroactive for their pay, that you're holding for 5 years? It's not right. Is it possible to get an answer on what your thoughts are on the fire department money?
Well, Mike, with respect to the union negotiations, they're ongoing, and, we're hopeful that there's going to be
Well, that's a
an
good-
agreement
that's a good
in
word.
the near future.
So you guys are hopeful that we're close?
well-
Are you working together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, negotiations are ongoing. I prefer not to speak about what's been negotiated or where we're at right now.
Said enough.
All right, but we're hopeful that there's going to be agreements in the near future. We're hopeful.
Okay.
But, that's the best we can do
Assuming
right
that's
now.
with the police
Yeah,
department you're talking about?
right, yes.
And the highway?
And the highway. And the highway. Negotiations are ongoing. I don't know if Frank or Jonathan want to speak about that, but they have met. I don't know how recent, how long ago the most recent meeting was, but the town board negotiation team has met with the negotiating committee from the highway department.
I don't hear
from the
anything good
Teamsters.
on the other side. I hear something good on the police side. I know you've been meeting with the police. I know the police have taken a step up, you've taken a step down, you're trying to meet halfway, but I don't hear that with the other one. And it's not a good feeling. And the $2.3 million to the fire department, are you still gonna fund $500,000 in there?
Yes, it's, Mike, it's the 2.2 million, you're correct with the number, but what the contract number is 1.75 million, is what they requested for 2016. The difference between the 1.75 and the 2.2 has to do with the LoSAP program, the Local Service Award Program, the cost for that, and I believe the workers' comp cost is also, the cost for the workers' comp.
Let's go back to,
So the contract amount is 1.75 million.
are you planning to lower what they've received by $500,000 based on what we discussed when this was brought out? That's what I want to know.
The answer is yes.
Thank you.
That number will be reduced.
Thank you. And I thank you for every taxpayer in the Mahopac Fire District. That's a substantial savings, substantial.
What you will see in the 2016 budget for the Mahopac Fire Protection District is 1.2 million. So it was reduced by $550,000.
And I would hope that Ms. Maxwell, who I think is on your manager level, underpaid, has someone in her office to watch over that money, and it's not dispersed until we know what the story is with
Yeah.
the unknown story.
That will be, there's going to be a major restructuring of that contract. It's going to be overhauled, and there will be safeguards in place to protect the taxpayers' money.
And speaking for every senior in this community, I've said this last year and 6 months ago when I heard it. With a $1.2 million budget, down from 1.7, and we won't get into it right now, why are the seniors paying $175 a week to rent a room on a building that we built with our money?
Well, seniors don't pay it. The seniors don't pay it, the town pays it.
The town pays it.
on the-
It's
That's
a-
his
town
point.
It's a
pays
budget
it
amount.
for
That's
recreation.
his point.
That's his point, though. For the town,
I hear what you're saying.
So
I agree
you're
with-
paying,
No, I just wanted to clarify when you said the seniors, like, I didn't want people to, let me just finish, Mike, let me just finish. I didn't want people to think that somebody walks in there, a senior, and gives them $10.
well, let me say something.
I just want, but I
You know what? When that senior walks in there, that's their money. You're paying it with their money,
I'm not.
our money,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I
It's the
just
same
wanted to.
thing.
Okay.
okay? The seniors and the taxpayers are paying $175 rent
That's correct.
to use our building. Okay? So if you're gonna drop that $500,000, I would think to take out $700 or whatever it is a month, times 12, is chump change. So instead of insulting the seniors by saying we have to rent this building for $175, okay? I mean, think about it, just how it looks. If you could take $500,000 just like that off their budget, I think we could take 7,000 more. That's it. I don't know if there's anybody else here that's going to say anything, but there should be a lot more people here. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak regarding the budget public hearing? Yes, Jerry.
Yes, my name is Jerry Revnitsky, and I live in Mopac. I do have some comments on this, but I did want to ask a question first in regard to the listing of what's on the agenda. And I don't see any thing that I used to see when I used to come here about comments about non-agenda items. Is there no longer a concern about
No, it's there, open forum. It's under open.
forum.
Open forum?
Well,
It's
under
just
open
below
forum,
town
it
board member.
says, public, oh, okay, yeah,
Two
that's
separate
fine.
ones there.
There's one on the agenda items, then right below it is open forum.
Okay. In regard, okay, that's fine. In regard to the seniors paying money for the use of the firehouse, I'm a senior citizen, but I have not gone to those sessions there. I'm usually busy working or involved with other organizations. But I agree. I agree with what Mike was saying, that it is, and I've heard numerous people in the community saying that it is inappropriate to have to pay for that, and that should be changed. Mike had mentioned something about non-contested elections, which occurred just yesterday. Congratulations on the winners. But I think it's, we need to have more involvement of people in the community in elections. We need to have people willing to run for office. And frankly, the Democrats were unable to find people who were willing to run for office. It is a very,
Jerry, this is the public hearing on the budget for next year. What you're speaking about is unrelated to the budget.
okay.
So I'm going to stop you there, Jerry, and do you have any questions, and do you want to make a comment with respect to the proposed budget for next year? What's contained within the budget? Because that's not in the budget.
He could say that at the end of the meeting in the
Well,
open
I-
forum, but
I've heard, the other thing I wanted
I think we
to
just said,
mention, which does relate to the budget, and that is the section relating to a contract with the Mayapack Fire Department. And numerous people have approached me and asked me about that, and how $5.2 million could disappear without anyone in the town knowing about that. So I think there has to be some kind of, some way of doing this, whether whether this should be changed from a fire protection district to a fire department, or whatever the wording might be, in order to have the town have some control of what goes on, so taxpayer money doesn't get embezzled. Anything that has to be done needs to be done, and that's what the people have been saying. They can't understand how that could have gone on for so many years. And I think the public is kind of angry about that, and that needs to be addressed, and the public needs to know what the town board is going to do to prevent that from happening in the future.
There'll be measures put in place, Jerry, in the, with respect to the contract for 2016, Jerry? There'll be safeguards as part of the contract. There'll be measures put in place to adequately ensure that the money will be protected, the taxpayers' money. I really don't want to get into explaining too much about what that will be, but I can assure you that changes will be made. And the public will know what those changes are at some point, but the town board is very cognizant of that. It's something that we've been discussing, and I can assure you that there will be changes that will protect the taxpayers' money going forward in the future. I can't speak about you're right, the money that is missing. The fire department is a contract vendee currently because they're a fire protection district. So we had no control over or oversight of that money or accountability for that money. That was entirely up to the fire department, how they did that, how they, what measures they put in place with respect to that. So this town board, we had no involvement. Once the check was distributed to the fire protection district for the contract amount, that was essentially out of our hands at that point. Okay? All right. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak with respect to the 2016 townwide budget? This is an open public hearing. If there is none, it doesn't sound like there is going to be any further speakers. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Lombardi. Seconded by
Second.
Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, Ann, thank you.
Going-
Okay.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Okay, next item on the agenda, now we're going back to our regular voting meeting. Next item, agenda number 3, is a resolution authorizing deletions to the active list of the Carmel Volunteer Fire Department. Councilman Lombardi, would you read number 3?
Resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the deletion of the following names to the active list of the Carmel Fire Department. Paul L. Pina, Carmel, New York. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. I'd like to thank Mr. Penna for his volunteerism and his service to the residents in the Carmel Fire Protection District. Okay, next resolution, number 4, is a resolution authorizing entry into contractual agreement, electrical supply services. Councilman Lupinacci, would you read this one?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the entry into contractual agreement with Energy Cooperative of America, Amherst, New York, for the supply of electricity to Town of Carmel buildings and facilities for a period of 1 year at a rate of .06866, approximately 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Said agreement to be in form as attached hereto and made a part hereof, and be it further resolved that either Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt or Town Comptroller Mary Ann Maxwell is hereby authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the Town of Carmel, as well as any other and further documentation required to effectuate said agreement on the terms authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution this evening, number 5, is a resolution authorizing payment for vehicle repairs, Town of Carmel Highway Department. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read this one, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes the payment of the sum of $26,627.90 to J&R Custom Truck LLC, Cortland Manor, New York, for repairs performed upon the 2006 Freightliner M9 chassis in accordance with the invoice dated March 22, 2015. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay. It really wasn't, even though the resolution indicates for repairs, it wasn't repairs that were done, it was the build-out. It was the build-out of the truck, the chassis, the body, the chassis. So is repairs okay, Greg?
You can make it repairs and modifications if you wish. You want to amend
All right.
the motion
So-
I second the modification.
and offer it as
Okay.
modified.
So the resolution is going to include repairs and modifications. Or if you want to change that on your modifications performed upon the 2006 Freightliner. So you made a motion as amended, John, to include that?
Yes,
I-
please.
I need a second on the amended
Second.
resolution. Seconded by Councilwoman McDonough for the amended resolution. Okay. Now, roll call vote on that, Ann, please?
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, number 6 is a resolution accepting proposal for consulting engineering services. Councilman Schneider, would you read number 6?
Resolved that the Town of Carmel Town Board hereby accepts the proposal of J. Robert Fulchetti and Associates LLC for the provision of engineering consulting services for the Town of Carmel Engineering Department commencing January 1, 2016, for a period of 2 years thereafter at a compensation rate of $10,000 per month. Said agreement to be in general form as attached hereto and made a part hereof. And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in a form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all documentation required to formalize the acceptance of said proposal on the terms authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Schneider, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lubinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 7, is a resolution making appointments to the Lake Secor Park District Advisory Board. Councilman Lombardi, would you read this one?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby appoints the following individuals to the Lake Secor Park District Advisory Board: Carl Brenner, Augusta Longoa, and Vincent Triani. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, offered by Councilman Lombardi, seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lubinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 8, is a resolution terminating the declaration of a water emergency pursuant to Section 151-22 of the Town Code. This is for Water District Number 12. And Councilman Lupinacci, would you read this one, please?
Whereas the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as commissioners for Carmel Water District Number 12 has previously enacted a water emergency in respect to within Carmel Water District Number 12, and whereas the Town Board has been advised by Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., that the circumstances necessitating the declaration of water emergency in Carmel Water District Number 12 has been abated, and that the emergency can be rescinded. Now therefore be it resolved that pursuant to Town Code Section 155-22A, the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby terminates the water emergency previously declared in Water District Number 12. I hope this resolution is read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lubinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, resolution number 9 is a resolution authorizing attendance at a seminar. And Councilwoman McDonough, would you read number 9, please?
To resolve that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby authorizes Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., to attend the Leak Management, Water Audit, and Communications Workshop offered by the New York City Department of Environmental Protection in Tarrytown, New York, on November 10th, 2015. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel authorizes payment of reasonable and necessary expenses incurred in connection therewith upon audit. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lubinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 10, is a resolution accepting a proposal for roof repair for Carmel Water District Number 9. This is in the Vista Terrace section of Mahopac. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read number 9, please? I'm sorry, Councilman Schneider, would you read number 10?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Town of Carmel Water District Number 9, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal of Geyer Construction, Inc., Carmel, New York, to perform storage tank roof replacement at the Carmel Water District Number 9 treatment facility at a cost not to exceed $8,700, in accordance with the proposal dated September 21st, 2015, and be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all necessary contract documentation to effect acceptance of this proposal upon the terms authorized herein. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call vote.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lubinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Okay, next resolution, number 11, is a resolution accepting a proposal for pump installation at Carmel Water District Number 8. Councilman Lombardi, would you read this one?
Resolve the Town Board of Town of Carmel, acting as Commissioners of Town of Carmel Water District Number 8, and upon the recommendation of Town Engineer Richard J. Franzetti, P.E., hereby authorizes the acceptance of the proposal of B&J Plumbing, Mahopac, New York, to provide and perform the installation of a redundant pump at the Carmel Water District Number 8 pump house at a cost not to exceed $14,983.97, in accordance with the proposal dated September 24th, 2015, and October 9th, 2015. And be it further resolved that the cost incurred as a result of this authorization, as set forth herein, shall be allocated proportionally to Carmel Water District Number 1, 8, 10, and 13, And be it further resolved that upon presentation of insurance certificates in form as acceptable to Town Council, Town Supervisor Kenneth Schmidt is hereby authorized to execute any and all necessary contractual documentation to effectuate acceptance of this proposal upon the terms authorized herein. I offer the resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Okay, next resolution, number 12, is a resolution establishing employment anniversary date. And Councilman Lupinacci, would you read 12, please?
Resolved that the Town Board of Town of Carmel hereby revises the date of hire and/or anniversary date of employee number 2403 from November 20th, 2014 to June 29, 2012 for all purposes including but not limited to credit in the New York State and local retirement system. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, and seconded by Councilwoman McDonough. Before we vote on it, I just want to explain, so the benefit of the public, is that these two employees, which are identified by employee numbers, they were employed by the town of Carmel in a part-time capacity dating back to, in this case, June 29th of 2012. Both of these employees are now full-time employees, and their start dates, or the hire date, was November 20th of 2014. The New York State Local Retirement System law allows those employees to have certain credits that are added to their start date for the purposes of retirement. So both of these employees, although they were here in part-time capacities, they did earn credits in the New York State Retirement System. So we have to add those credits to the retirement system by resolution in order for them to get credits for the time that they were here as part-time hourly people. So the next resolution you can see is the same thing, number 13. So I just wanted to explain that what we're doing here, so you understand that they're entitled to this under the law. They're entitled to those additional credits while they were part-time employees. Okay, so roll call vote, please.
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. And next resolution, number 13, is a resolution establishing employment anniversary date. Councilwoman McDonough, would you read 13, please?
Sure. Resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Carmel hereby revises the date of hire and/or anniversary date for employee number 1146 from November 20th, 2014 to August 21st, 2012 for all purposes including but not limited to credit in the New York State and local retirement system. I offer this resolution as read.
Second.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. Roll call vote?
Councilman Schneider?
Yes.
Councilman Lupinacci?
Yes.
Councilwoman McDonough?
Yes.
Councilman Lombardi?
Aye.
Supervisor Schmidt?
Yes, motion carried. Just to explain a little further, the credits that they're receiving are that they were not full-time employees. There's a formula that the state retirement system uses for part-time status. So it's a fraction, it's much less than the credits that you receive if you were full-time. But there is a percentage of credits that they're entitled to. So, okay, that concludes the voting items for this evening's Town Board voting item agenda. At this time, I'm going to open up the floor to public comment on the items that we covered during the voting meeting, the agenda items only. Jerry, or no? Okay, you want to wait for the open forum? Okay. Is there anybody on agenda items at this time? No? Okay. All right, we're going to move on then to the open forum, public comment portion of the meeting. This is an open forum, and it has to be related to town business, and you have 3 minutes only per speaker, and you must be a town resident, a property owner, a business owner to speak in the open forum portion of the meeting. So who wants to come up first? Mike?
Regarding the reval, we're still expecting numbers in January? Okay.
We are, yes.
And I haven't heard any open discussion yet on the homestead.
We actually have a meeting. We had a resolution that was done, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, which basically told the state, we're in the process of a reassessment project, we are going to contemplate homestead, we want to be recognized, I believe it's referred to as an accredited assessing unit at the state level. That basically just starts the ball rolling. We have a meeting with representatives from the 5 school districts that lie inside the town of Carmel next Tuesday From that, we're also giving it, main reason for that is because if this town board decides to select a homestead option, it then gets passed on to the school board. So the school board has to be kept abreast of the entire situation so that they know the timeline for what they may need to do if they're to make that decision as well. So we're meeting on that. The numbers we had preliminarily should be coming in. We're expecting at the end of December to get all of the double checking done by the assessor. So what we want to do is I think it's tentative for January, first week of January, for a work session to have a homestead discussion. And the reason for that timing is because at that point, we'll actually have numbers. I know I myself was just over at one of the condominium associations with a couple representatives from there. I know a few other board members have met as well. And we're basically in a holding pattern right now because until we have those numbers that we're looking at getting in the next 6 to 8 weeks, there's very little that can be done. But we've already started planning it out. We're already looking, like I said, first week of January for the work session. January 13th, I apologize. So January 13th is what we're looking for as the tentative date right now. And that's with everything falling in line to make the calendar mark to stick within the schedule that we're looking for the tax program.
Okay, because, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing this town has to deal with for a very long time. And the homestead vote, I think, is probably, I'm going to mirror it to the garbage vote. And, you know, the audience would be full of 50 people, 75 people, 100 people against the garbage, against the garbage, against the garbage. And, you know, kept harping on you guys that you represent, 12,000 homes and 25,000 or 30,000 people. And you got to look at the whole town. You have to look at everybody. And I could see a very similar situation developing with the homestead vote as it was with the garbage vote. And I just want to make sure no mistakes are done, and you follow the good of everybody, and not the 50 to 100 letters you'll get, or the 50 to 100 people that are either for or against it. I'm not saying for or against it. All I'm saying is you represent 12, 13,000 homes and 20 to 30,000 people. And that's really all I have to say. I would hope that you really realize that that vote is very, very, very important. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Is there anyone else that'd like to come up for the new forum, open forum portion of the meeting? Raise your hand. Jerry, come on up.
I have two items I'd like to speak about. The first one, I noticed yesterday morning I was on the way to work at the polls, and it was probably about 20 minutes before 5. And as we were driving there, my wife and I noticed that there were leaves on the road all over the area near where I live, around the corner particularly. Now, I understand that that's not legal for people to blow their leaves out onto the road. I think there is a town code that covers that. And a few years ago, my wife had spoken to the town board at a meeting and indicated that it isn't fair that those of us who pay to have the excess leaves taken away have to also pay for the town, for the highway department to come around and take the leaves away for all those people who blow the leaves into the road. Now, I understand that the highway department can't leave all those leaves in the road. Once we get the snow and ice, it would be dangerous to leave them there. However, those leaves get into the drains. Therefore, they go into the lake, into the various lakes. And that's what caused, or that's one of the causes of the algae that we've had in the lakes. Now, people may not realize that those leaves get into the lake and they act kind of as a fertilizer for the algae. And I don't necessarily want wholesale fines to be issued to people in the community, but I think we need to do more to let people know that that's not legal, and that if it continues, that fines will be issued to people. The other thing is that polluted lakes, and this is happening, the algae problem's happening all over the county, not just in town of Carmel. It reduces property values. If people buy houses and they see that they can't use the lakes for recreation, those properties aren't going to be worth as much. So perhaps we need to have an educational program that leaves out in on the roads are not in the best interests of anyone in the community. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I did want to mention was in regard to the AIM pipeline in the area. As you recall, I had appeared before this group some time back and discussed it. And essentially, the responses that I got indicated very clearly to me that the town board just wanted to avoid the issue and would throw up all kinds of obstacles to have to discuss it openly in public.
Jerry, that's not true. Jerry,
I guess we can say
that's the
whatever we
furthest
wanna
thing from the
say.
truth. I don't know where you've been, and if you've been busy and you haven't been able to
That's
attend me.
nonsense. That's nonsense.
We have, no, what you're saying is nonsense. You want people to believe, you want the public to believe that we're not involved in that at all. And that's the furthest thing from the truth.
But you wouldn't
Well, you
discuss
know-
it in
Excuse me.
public.
I'm
You would
speaking.
not discuss it in
Sir,
public.
Can I explain to you what we've done, or you don't want to hear it? You just want to hear what you want to say and what you want the people to believe. Well, what you want the people to believe is not the truth. So why don't we speak the truth, okay? We
Sure.
are involved in it. Councilwoman McDonough and I have met with Spectra Energy. We've met with the Algonquin people.
That's the problem.
We've attended meetings.
That's the
Well,
problem. You
well,
heard one side only.
what-
No, Jerry, they had, I don't know, I'm assuming you were aware of it, I'm not sure. But down, where was it? Which town was it? It was in Southeast. In Southeast, they had an open forum where anybody can go and speak about it. They had all of the maps, and we've also inquired further about that. And sadly to say, there was not a lot of people in attendance. Supervisor Schmidt and myself did go. So we are doing our homework and getting all sides, not just one side, not just the other side, all sides, as well as the residents that it's going to impact. So I just don't say that we haven't been involved or
Let me
listened,
finish
because
what I
we
was saying.
have.
One of the things, Westchester County, Rockland County, and Putnam County all had open forums to discuss it. There were many people there. They passed resolutions asking for or saying that it was important that there be an independent, open kind of study done by independent experts so that people would know what's going on. There are many other communities, many other towns that pass similar resolutions. The American Medical Association passed a resolution saying that we need to have an independent study done, health impact assessment done before this pipeline is built. Numerous scientific organizations came out with, they voted also, as the AMA did for that. And my feeling is that not having an open public discussion in the town, you may have gone to other places, you may have spoken with Spectra, and you got their view, but there are numerous other views. And I think that to not have an open discussion here at a town board meeting is a dereliction of duty, in my opinion.
Well, I happen to disagree with you on
Yeah,
that
I
comment.
realize you do.
On that comment that you want to put out there, you want the public to believe that we're not doing our duty. We absolutely are. If you'd like to come into my office, Jerry, and see the maps that I've been provided by, I'm just,
You got all the
I'm
information
making
from
the offer,
Spectra.
I'm offering it to you.
But do you know that the studies that they provided have false information? Are you aware of that? Did they provide that information to you?
And what you've asked for, we've done. We've asked them for that.
You've
For the
asked
rec-
Spectra
For the
for that.
record, we have asked them for
Okay.
that, yes.
But Spectra would not provide that kind of information. They, the approval that, that FERC gave to the AIM pipeline was based on the information provided by Spectra and provided by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the foremost experts in the country on nuclear power and on pipelines have stated directly that the methods used to evaluate that are illegal, are not allowed according to law, that the computations are wrong, and that the danger to Indian Point is much greater than those faulty studies have shown. Now, you didn't get that information from Spectra, because Spectra won't give that to you. And I think that's why an open public discussion is needed.
Go ahead.
we
Jerry,
have-
You're getting the message out
Okay,
tonight.
yeah, and,
So
yeah.
I'll let you go, you continue a
Well,
little bit longer,
that's
but-
only my view.
I know it's your view
But
of
I'm
it.
saying that other members of the community never got an opportunity to speak about this. And I think, it's very difficult for me to believe that 5 members of the town board would all think that, that such a open discussion would not be appropriate, or would not believe that there is a real danger from Indian Point. There are 20 million people who live within a 50-mile area. An explosion on that pipeline, which is 105 feet from a critical structure.
Jerry, that pipeline, I'm sure you're aware of it, is already there. It's been there for many, many, many,
Let
many
me-
years.
may I finish, and then-
I just wanted to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
I'm aware of what was there.
Okay.
The 42-inch pipeline was not there. That's what they're planning to put in, okay? 42-inch pipeline is almost 3 times the capacity, much higher pressure. Since it's 105 feet from the reserve fuel tanks that they have, those fuel tanks are there in case of an explosion, in case of a shutdown, that it would provide power for cooling the rods. Now, if that blows up, the rods would not be able to be cooled and would cause a meltdown much worse than Fukushima. It could affect all of New York City and everything within 50 miles being uninhabitable for many, many generations. Now, think of what that would do to our country.
Jerry, are you talking about Indian Point, or are you talking about the
India.
pipelines?
It passes 105
No,
feet from this
Jerry, wait,
critical
honestly, I'm just trying to follow you.
And
Are you
that will
talking about-
affect us. It will
Jerry,
affect-
Jerry,
Let-
Jerry,
let Councilwoman
I'm
McDonough
trying to
speak.
understand what you're saying. Are you talking about Indian Point, or are you talking about the pipeline?
Both.
Because you're saying that we didn't do our due diligence, so I'm just trying to follow you. The
I'm sa-
pipeline that is already in existence, that they want to expand upon, they want to make bigger, that's already here. Are you speaking about that, or are you speaking about Indian Point? Or are you speaking about both?
I'm speaking about both.
Okay, thank you, that's all I needed to know.
The pipeline, yes, there are 2 pipelines currently there that are 50 to 60 years old and also very dangerous, because when pipelines get old, there's more danger to them. And when they reach 50 or 60 years old, the danger is quite bad. And those pipelines are under the current nuclear reactors. They're directly underneath. But the new pipeline that they're putting in, that will connect further away from Indian Point, is a 42-inch, much greater pressure, much greater capacity than any pipeline that is there. These pipelines do rupture, they do break. It could be due to, any number of reasons. It could be people error, it could be a mechanical error, it could be bad welding, it could be any number of things. And if there is an explosion there, 20 million people are affected, including all the residents of our town, including all of New York City. What would happen to our economy in this country if there was an explosion and that happened, and no one could survive in this area? The radiation would be very intense. So,
We're aware of that. We are fully aware of that.
Well,
And we're aware of what's being proposed by the Algonquin folks, Spectra Energy. I want the public to know that this town board is very much involved with the Spectra Energy Algonquin Gas Project. We get information on it pretty much on a regular basis, and we've been in touch with those folks. We've had conversations with them. We've met with them here at the town hall. Susie and I attended the open forum, the open meeting, which was over in Southeast, that I didn't see you at, but we were there. So you
I
you
went
wouldn't have
to
saw
at
us there.
least 10 different
but I just
meetings
want you
in
to
many
know that
different communities
we're in
throughout Westchester, Putnam, and
All
Rockland
right,
County.
Jerry, I let you go way past your 3 minutes.
And so did,
And-
and you
and I-
also
and-
never objected when Mike was talking before.
Mike who? Who? Mr. Borelli?
Yes,
That was a public hearing on the budget.
yeah.
So we allow him to go past 3 minutes on the public hearing on the budget.
And then many times
Mr. Borelli
before,
wasn't
you have
speaking.
allowed him to go because I
right.
think you're afraid of him because he has a lot of influence in the community and maybe a lot more money.
No, we're not afraid of him. He doesn't,
Well,
he-
you don't stop him from
doesn't-
talking
no,
at
we
any
do. We
time, whether
stopped
it's
him.
during a hearing or not.
All right, this is enough. We're not going to go on like this. We're
Okay.
not going to keep
All
going
right,
on.
the only-
Do
if
you have
you want-
anything else? Because you're 3 minutes, you're
One
way
more-
past your 3
One
minutes.
more sentence.
And I'm trying to be respectful of you, Jerry, but you're taking advantage of it.
Okay.
Please, and don't bring up another resident. Don't mention another resident's name if it doesn't involve what you're speaking about. We've cut him off. I have personally stopped Mr. Borelli from
All
speaking.
right.
And he do-
I
and
have
he-
one more sentence
Go
to
ahead.
say.
Just do
that
it quickly.
Yes, you have gotten a lot of information from Spectra. Spectra gives one side of the story, and many of their facts are false. They have lied, and I'm saying that in public. They can sue me if they want because I have proof. They have lied to the public, and I assume since they lied at other meetings I've been at, they have probably lied to you as well. And not allowing the public to hear this information in a public meeting here, in my opinion, is inappropriate. And I would like to hear what the other members of the town board think about that.
Jerry, do you have information, do you have website information where residents can get information with respect to the Spectra Energy Algonquin project? Because if you do and you have them with you, you want to give the folks at home those
I can give
website
you,
information?
I can give you one
I'm going to allow
website.
you to do that.
There are numerous websites, but I can give you one website.
Go ahead.
It's SAPE 2016 .org. And if anyone wants to have additional information, I can send you loads and loads of information if you call me at 628-6681. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And just so the public knows, we also, I know I also got information from other groups other than Spectra. I don't just get one-sided, I get all of the information.
Right. And if, I'll make this statement, if any residents want to come into my office, I've been supplied or provided with all of the maps outlining the proposed project that would impact the town of Carmel, where you may reside. It outlines where the pipeline is located, the current pipeline, and where the 42-inch pipe will be installed with respect to the town of Carmel boundaries. I have those in my office. You're welcome to come in and see them anytime you'd like. So I don't know what more we could, we could say, but this town board is very much interested in this project. We're very much aware of the circumstances surrounding it and what's being proposed. It's not that we're sitting here and not doing anything about it. We are very much interested in it and how it could potentially impact the residents of the town of Carmel. So, okay, all right. Is there anybody else that would like to come up to discuss new business with the town board, open forum? Okay, if there aren't any, and I don't believe there are any more, we do have some announcements that I have to make prior to going into executive session. The Carmel Town Hall will be closed on Wednesday, November 11th, 2015, in observance of Veterans Day. Offices will reopen on Thursday, November 12th, 2015, at 8:30 a.m. So we're closed Wednesday, November 11th, and in observance of Veterans Day, but we will reopen on Thursday, November 12th, at 8:30 a.m. There is going to be services, Jonathan, is that on Monday? The Veterans Day services?
No, I believe that's on
Is
Wednesday.
it going to be on Wednesday?
Yeah, Veterans
Wednesday
Day,
at-
I believe 11 a.m. is going to be the start for here, which is going to be at CVS Mount Hope, and then at 12. No, 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m. Also on 52 at the
Up
Marnay
in
Post.
Carmel. Okay, 11 a.m. and 12 over here?
No, no,
I think the other way.
they're both at 11?
Both at 11? 11 o'clock, okay. 11. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Just one other, actually, two other announcements.
It's 11 next Tuesday, and I can make the announcement.
Yeah.
All right, there's going to be a New England Christmas celebration at the Union Valley Cemetery Chapel at 743 Union Valley Road, Mahopac. The date is Saturday, November 28th, 2015, at 4 p.m. Welcome the holiday season by singing traditional Christmas carols, accompanied by the Westchester Putnam Youth Symphony String Quartet. Holiday refreshments will be reserved in case of inclement weather. Please listen to WHUD 100.7. The snow date is November 29th, 2015, at 4 p.m. For more information, contact Wendy at worthingtonlabradors03@gmail.com. So again, the New England Christmas celebrations at the Union Valley Cemetery Chapel, Union Valley Road, at the intersection of Sandy Street, at November 28th at 4 p.m. Jonathan, you want to take care of that one?
The one that's in my hand?
Yeah, the one that
Sure.
Councilman Lombardi passed over to you?
Town of Carmel Top Dog, doing it every week. 2015 contest is underway. You have until November 30th to get your submissions in. There's going to be top dog, first deputy dog, second deputy dog. Go to carmelny.org, underneath the town clerk's web link, and you just have to submit a photo of your beloved photogenic and, of course, licensed dog. And we're going to have entries again going through November 30th, and voting is going to be from December 4th through the 11th. We're going to announce a winner on December 16th. Again, for more information, just go to carmelny.org or call up our town clerk, 845-628-1500.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. All right. You have anything?
Yeah, just one more. Obviously, like I said last week, we're starting here at Town Hall our annual Thanksgiving food drive in conjunction with the Mahopac Middle School. Had a discussion about it today with the middle school, and there's 50 families that are in need of our assistance this year. It's up from about 4 from last year. So we have a donation box here in Town Hall. There are some groups of people who are also donating money for the purchase of the 50 turkeys. If anybody wishes to do that, obviously, we'll take a check, but we'll have it written out to the supermarket, and some of us will be going to a supermarket that gives us the best deal, and we will be purchasing them from there. So I've already spoken to one group already. They're going to be donating $150, and I'll announce that who they are in the next couple of weeks. There's another group that always is anonymous. They don't want anybody to know, but they will be donating a significant amount to that as well. Besides turkeys, we could also use all kinds of Thanksgiving fare to go along with it. If anybody has any questions about what is needed, you can contact Ann. She has the list, or you can contact the middle school guidance office. So we'll be continuing to do this for the next few weeks. Yeah, and Lynn Mongan at the middle school, you can contact her. I don't know the number, you can find it.
621-1330, extension 2.
621-1330, extension
Just
2.
hit number 2.
I hit number 2. And, but in any event, I spoke to her today, so we're well underway. And anything extra, any extra food that is not used for those baskets will be going to the St. John's and St. James food pantries here in town. Hopefully, we do have extra, which we've been doing for the last, I know that I've been involved in, this town board has been involved in for the last 7 years of doing it. So it's well appreciated. This is the time of the year where we all seem to be a little bit more generous in cognizant of the needs of others. You know what? Thanksgiving's not a religious holiday, it's an American holiday, and families need to be together, and when they're together, they need to have a nice meal, and if we can help provide that to some people in this town that don't quite have what others of us will have, I think it's incumbent upon us to do that. So we'll continue to do what we're doing. We have a box here in Town Hall. Thanks, Ann, for putting that out. And like I said, anybody who wants to help out, you can contact me by email, my phone. You can contact the supervisor's office, or you can contact the middle school.
Lynn over at the middle school.
Yeah. All right?
Okay, good. Thanks, Frank. All right, that covers the, our meeting agenda for this evening and the town board announcements. We do have executive session this evening to go into.
We do want to let the public know that we're not meeting next Wednesday. We're meeting Tuesday.
Tuesday instead.
Oh, yeah, important, Jonathan. Yeah, I just want to mention that the town board will not be meeting next Wednesday. The town hall will be closed for Veterans Day. Instead, we're going to be meeting on the 10th. So next Tuesday, the 10th, we'll be having a town board work session here at Carmel Town Hall. Regular start time at 7 p.m. So we'll see everybody next Tuesday on the 10th. November the 10th at 7 p.m. instead of Wednesday, November 11th. So, all right? So we need to, and then you need a motion to go into executive session
So moved.
to discuss the budget personnel items for for 2016. So moved by Councilman Lombardi. Seconded by Councilman Lupinacci. All those in favor? All right, we're going to be closing the meeting from executive session. We're not going to be coming back out here to close. So good night, everyone. Be well. We'll see you next Tuesday, November 10th, for a town board work session. Good night. Be well.